I just hit the go live. I gotta mute this. I gotta mute this. Uh, Once again, I'm ill prepared for what I'm planning to do, but you know that's part of the charm. I'm saying can't show my face too crazy. Ah, I gotta mute it. I'm saying out here in the public square, about to get rocks thrown at me. You know what I'm saying, for all these lies I've been telling on the internet. You know what I'm saying about my Lakers winning this series in 6. But you know, maybe Lakers in 8. You know what I'm saying? Lakers in 7. Lakers in 8. You know, I still believe that we could shock the world, baby. I ain't even gonna hold you. You know what I'm saying? All we need is for KCP to stop tripping. Jamal Murray, bro. I said what I said on the stream, bro. You ain't have to take it this personally, bro. You know what I'm saying? You still going missing in action for like halves at a time. But if you could just do that for 3 quarters and then like the 4th quarter, you can just chill out a little bit. You know what I'm saying? And just take some time off. I forgot to, well, you can't really see it. I ain't even going to mention what it is. If you spot it, you spot it. I ain't. But Lakers are 7. I can't stop now. I think I said this in the video already. I said if the Lakers go down 3-0, I still believe they could take 4 games. You know what I'm saying? Still 2 of the next 3 in crypto if it goes that way. Still 2 of the next 3 in crypto. Got to win game 4. You know what I'm saying? Game 5. Then game 6. Having to win 2 games on the road in the playoff series is crazy. And that's before we even get to the fact that you got to win 4 straight. These boys are in trouble. I did not think that they were going to be losing games on the margins like this, because if you look at the roster, you know what I'm saying, they are ostensibly the more talented team. But I severely undervalued the value of the role players and their specific roles and things that they do. Mr. Bruce Brown, Mr. KCP. I did not think they were going to be as consistent as they have been. And, you know, that's on me. You know what I'm saying? My shooty hoop eyes was lying a little bit. Not really, but they was, you know what I'm saying? This particular set of games, they have been lying. Lakers, I don't know what's going on with the whole 2 superstar of it all. You know what I'm saying? They've lost a lot of these games in the closing minutes. They've just been out executed in ways that I didn't foresee. I think the last game was a little different in the fact that they kind of lost the leash a little bit when LeBron got taken out. He was out the game for like maybe a minute, and they went from like up 1 to down 5, and then they just never really recovered from that. Timely shots. Bruce Brown had that tip in off of was either a block or an air ball. He was turned one way. He like jumped or turned his body, then jumped and tipped the ball in on some ricochet type loose ball in the air action that just like, you know what I'm saying? You just got to tip your hat to that, brother. You out there hooping. Oh man, my guy, D-Lo, big time stankiness going on in game 3. I still am going down the shield of those first 2 games. I don't think he played poorly, particularly game 2. Game 1, like the 3-guard lineup of it all and like the circumstances on the court were what they were. Game 2, I posted the video of the run and how he was just a bystander in a lot of it. Game 3 though, I think they gave him a fair shake. He had the ball in the beginning of the game. Denver was just, you know what I'm saying, he came out, he made his first shot. I think he got an assist. He looked like he was generally engaged. But then what had finally happened for the first time this series, like on a noticeable level, despite what everybody was saying about them, like picking on him on defense and other games and stuff, they weren't really going at him on defense the first 2 games. Game 3, they was putting him in all the ball screens. I think Like 8 of the first 10 was on him. Like I think KCP got a pick and roll jumper. Then Murray made some shots. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Murray was just cooking regardless of the situation. Maybe you could say D'Lo got him going or whatever, but he put up 30 in the first half. D'Lo caught a couple of those early. And then their transition defense in the first quarter was god awful. Like it was one play in particular. I think D'Lo, like, he stopped ball and then he had to chase the corner shooter and like still, like, even if all that was happening, I don't think there were 3 Lakers on that end of the court for like the whole possession. I could be misremembering, but like the speed of it all, maybe it just, you know what I'm saying, it looked a certain way, but they were not locked in on defense transitionally. And this is the second game where they've wasted opportunities that Denver has given them from one of their 2 best players not particularly playing well. This time it was Jokic. In game 2, it was Murray. He was like 3 for 15 at some point. I think Jokic, I don't remember what he was. I think he didn't shoot that well, though. I know he was in foul trouble, but he wasn't shooting particularly well. He wasn't really getting it going. And there were stretches in the game where Jokic was not in the game, and they just did not take advantage of it, particularly when he went out with those 4 fouls in the third quarter. KCP really stepped up in those minutes and just willed them to stay in the game. I think he had like 12 points or something in the third quarter, and they never really got a hold of it. They kind of started making a push at the beginning of the fourth quarter. They got out in transition a little bit. They got a couple buckets, and then they had one particular, I think they were up 1, I believe. Rui got a fast break layup on some kind of, I didn't see what happened before because I was looking down, but I saw Rui was out on the break. He got the ball and he laid it up, and it kind of just, you know what I'm saying, danced around the rim, did not fall. And I think if that layup goes in, the momentum is a little different than it ended up being. But even then, they were still in the game for the majority of it after like the first 10 minutes or whatever. But they've had games like that in these playoffs where they kind of start in the first half. They'll start off a little decent, then they'll kind of lose hold of it towards the end of the first quarter, and then they'll kind of get it back before half. And this was kind of the same kind of situation, but they just got out executed after that. I don't know particularly like what the thinking was with taking Bron out. I think you think you can like survive some of those minutes that he's not out there, but like as soon as he left, it was five points. Just, it was like a 6-point swing, like immediately. And in these moments, I know he's old, but if I'm leaving him in there. Just, you got to stay in there till the wheels fall off, bro. Like we can't afford any margin for error, and you're still our best creator at the end of the day. Like, I think if you think Dennis Austin and AD can survive those minutes, you try it, but I'm personally not taking that chance. And we saw what ended up happening. I just so things that are likely going to happen. I think D'Lo and Vando probably are not going to be in the starting lineup anymore. I don't know. They might still be in a rotation. Ooh, my stomach. What is that? Little heat for my stomach. You know what I'm saying? I had a little. I was caked up today. You know what I'm saying? My stomach is not in the best of shape right now, but I got caked up just because. You know what I'm saying? And probably should have did that. I still got 2 more. I'm gonna do it again on Monday. Particularly if the Lakers win, I'm gonna crack open the victory cake. I was trying to open the cake earlier, bro, and like I got like a defective like cake holder cup. I don't know what they call them. Cake container. And it was a battle, bro. I had to get a plastic knife to open that joint, bro. I was struggling for a good 2 minutes. Cream just all in the inside of the cake. It wasn't, the cake was still good, but like half of the goodness of the cake is the cream, and the cream was just everywhere. So I had to like make this makeshift, put it on the fork, eat the cake, like, you know what I'm saying? I had to DIY the cake assembly with the cream part. Oh, my back too, man. What is going on? I am absolutely cooked, but I had to come up on this stream just in case somebody wanted to slander me. It don't look like there's too many people in here. I haven't looked down at the viewer number, but you know what I'm saying? I was talking crazy at the beginning. You know what I'm saying? I still believe. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna say it could never happen. It's never happened, but I ain't gonna say it can never happen. It's probably not gonna happen. But you know what I'm saying? We can get delusional. Lakers in 7, because I said Lakers in 6. After game 1, I was like, it could be 5, but I respect the Nuggets too much, you know what I'm saying? And The Lakers just didn't win on the margins. The loose ball battle, they have not won in any of these games, I don't think. They've been getting beaten in the moments that win or lose you games. And people often say that the better team often wins out in those moments, and that might just be what it is. You can argue the Lakers' lack of continuity or whatever it is, because it does seem like they're still searching for things at this point in the season. They started doing it at the end of the last series, and it kind of carried over, and I think it kind of harmed them in the beginning of the series, and then it's just been an uphill climb ever since, even though it didn't realistically need to be. They could have took one of those first two games. They were both well within reach, and just a couple of decisions got them where they are now. And the game 3 was the same thing. Denver has shown tremendous poise in those moments. Game 1, a little less so. I think the Lakers kind of did it to themselves a little more towards the end, like with the 3 and things like that. But they were kind of pushing back. So like there's only a certain amount of effort and execution you can expect to extend for the better part of what was like 12 to 14 minutes, like, and trying to make this furious run where they were down like 17 or whatever the score was. So commendable efforts in every game. The defense has been really good in half court in the last 2 games, which is what is all you can really expect. But the transition defense is still like the main problem that's just going to keep being a problem. It's doubly so a problem because you have a team that is locked in the ways that really hurt you in early offense, and they have just been getting absolutely killed in those scenarios. And the players that you expect to shoot a little not as good as they're shooting in certain respects, or making the shots that you might think they might miss in certain situations, particularly on the road. They were not missing those shots. Too up they were, but they also weren't, so I don't know if I'm gonna be on here that long. My neck and my back is hurting. It don't look like it's too many people in here. It's 2 people watching. It's good. There was a guy to come back from 0-3. It's obviously Bron. Seems like D'Lo just doesn't want to get to the rim for whatever reason. Keep taking those jumpers when they're not falling. Well, a lot of his minutes, particularly since game 2, are tied to Vando. So the pick and roll is not looking. It's not having the same amount of space that like you would expect to. And of course, that was the concern with playing Vando in the first place. But the avenues in there, they're packing the paint in a way that he's seeing like every time they run that action, he's seeing 3 people in that paint. Whether or not they're running it from the correct spots on the floor to get a little more momentum going and stuff, because like I have my ideas about them setting screens higher and trying to see how far does Jokic want to come out and guard these actions. Like they're setting them, they're letting them off the hook a little bit in the way that they're running things. Just in general, they're not doing too much of the double drag. They're not doing a lot of things that they can do from a screen game perspective, whether it be D'Lo or Austin or whoever, Dennis. Like I don't think their screen pick and roll execution is doing them any favors. It's leading to a lot of mid-range like pocket passes that aren't particularly with momentum or anything like that. The only momentum any of them can get is Austin going to the basket and pivoting in the mid-range area and drawing fouls or making the jumper or whatever the case may be. But it's not a lot of clean looks. Like I think Austin tried to like force the issue at the rim in the first half of game 2. And that's why he was like 3 for 10, because he was missing contested layups and stuff like that. AD, when he gets the ball in those situations, he's trying to like run through Jokic as opposed to like going up and over him, or just maintaining good balance and like bumping and getting a little bit of rhythm before he goes up. He's like stumbling into his shots and all this other stuff. So it's a little congested in there, and they're not really doing enough to free it up from an X's and O's standpoint. But Denver has come out with a good game plan, and they've been executing it. They're showing the importance of continuity and just having smart basketball players who know what they're supposed to do at any given possession, at any given time of the game. Don't play outside of themselves, outside of a little jawing or whatever it may be. But they're particularly locked in a way that the Lakers just haven't been over the course of the games. D'Lo Jokic 2-man game. It's gonna Mike Malone is trying to drop the price of the brick so he can have D'Lo on his team. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because like All of this attention on him is just it's very strange from the other the other side of the court. Like if he was just a bum, like they wouldn't be talking about him like this. So like I don't know what the rationale or like the genesis of all this stuff is, but it's very strange to me, but it's also very hilarious. I didn't tap into any of the Mike Malone shenanigans after game 3. I don't think I was on Twitter too often because I was cooked, number one, like physically and mentally, you know what I'm saying? No, like, but yeah, you know what I'm saying? D'Lo and Wemby, you know what I'm saying? Under Pop, you know what I'm saying? There was this rumor from Ethan Strauss a long time ago, like that D'Lo was at Team USA, and it was like, yeah, Pop was telling him stuff. He just wasn't running anything, like, and he was just doing all this nonsense. And Pop was very mad. And then, like, I think the Nets played the Spurs D'Lo's All-Star year, and Sean Elliott was like, yeah, Greg Popovich. He told us that D'Angelo Russell was a really good leader. He was a really good communicator. I was like, what's the truth, baby? Another reason why I be on here. I'm just on here searching for truth and context, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? People, I got somebody on Twitter, hitting me up every time D'Lo play bad. Like, I think you have a misunderstanding of like my level of investment. I'm not like a super stan of anybody, bro. I just enjoy basketball, and I don't enjoy when people lie about basketball in certain contexts. And I just do my best to correct that. D'Lo just happens to be one of the people who this happens to a lot. You know what I'm saying? So like I end up talking about him more. That's like the -16 video was purely for that reason. Like it wasn't like, oh, I'm so mad that people don't like D'Angelo Russell and he's playing bad. And like, it's like, nah, bro, like they stunk. But like, this is what happened because like people are like, oh, his shot selection is terrible. I'm like, bro, he shot 8 shots. Like it's just from a place of that. So like D'Lo and Wemby in San Antonio, about to be going stupid. You know what I'm saying? Keldon Johnson going to be out there. BBL Vince Staples, as we know him, as I know him, you know what I'm saying? Because he looks like Vince Staples. Let's just call it what it is. They're going to be out there. Hopefully, Keldon has gotten better as a driver and a finisher. I've made a video about Keldon Johnson on this channel. If you want to go check it out, see some of his strengths and his weaknesses, you know what I'm saying? We can lock that in. But, you know what I'm saying? D'Lo can feed Keldon for his spot ups because he is a sniper when he out there spotting up. He just got to get a little better as a self-creator. But, you know what I'm saying? D'Lo can hit the pass on the wing. He could drive, you know what I'm saying? He got a nice little floater touch. He can play some good defense, you know what I'm saying? But, what do you think D'Lo gets a free agency this year? I don't know. It all depends on like, cause like a lot of the conversations like, oh, he should have bed in the conference finals. Like, and it's like, yeah, but most teams don't even conceive of getting to this point. So like, I don't know how much this playoffs is going to have an effect on his like pay, because like, say what you want about this round. The first 2 rounds, he was absolutely instrumental and was putting up good numbers throughout both of those series. He basically had a huge hand in winning like 3 or 4 games in both of those series. And like, you could see his value in the fact that they got to the playoffs at all and that they got to the Western Conference Finals. So I don't know what it looks like. I don't know if like, but like, I still say like at least 25 wherever he goes, whether it's a short term or long term situation. The Lakers cap space is getting a little muddy, particularly if they're going to match anything that Reeves gets, and they're looking to retain Rui, which is another conversation that we can have. Like people asking for Kyrie and all this other stuff. Like, okay, Kyrie can come, but what happens to Reeves? And I'm not even talking about like his money. I'm talking about from an on-court perspective. How much utility does Reeves still retain with a guy like Kyrie on the court? Because for all of D'Lo's, if you want to call it streakiness or whatever, he's very consistent in the matter about how he plays basketball. So he's gonna let other people have the opportunities that present themselves on the court. He doesn't particularly need the ball too often. He still needs it, but he doesn't like, he don't need it to dribble every possession and all this other stuff. He's gonna relatively show up for you. He's gonna be a good locker room guy. Like all of these things are things that you can account for, even though like the Rudy stuff is whatever, but like Rudy punching other people. So like, I think that was more of a Rudy thing than a D'Lo thing. So like, and ultimately, you have to get to the dance in the first place. So you need people who can carry you through regular seasons and all this other stuff. And this is the 3rd time that we've seen that D'Lo has been on a roster or a team that kind of wasn't expected to go where they went. They went to the playoffs. in those seasons, like mini resurrections, if you will. So like I think that GMs see that and can value that, but who knows? You know what I'm saying? Some people are only as good as their last impression from an evaluation standpoint, so that might harm his market. But I still think he can get at least 25 because like the price of a starting caliber guard is going to be high regardless because just the price of everybody is higher. Like people are making $60 million now. Like you don't want to pay half of a supermax to like a person that can run your team for an entire season. Like you know. But I don't know who else has cap space out there. Maybe go down there, fly to Orlando. You know what I'm saying? Play with them young boys. I don't know what the future holds. If I'm the Lakers, I'm keeping them. But that's another question for another day. Like whether or not LeBron trusts him or not, even though he kind of played a role in like this whole thing that's happening now with more of the LeBron ball. But you know what I'm saying? It's a wait and see. But I still think he gets at least 25 if he wants it. And I think that, you know what I'm saying, there might be some concessions made if he wants to be in certain environments. Maybe you want to go play with Booker, you know what I'm saying, his homie, if there's an avenue to a sign trade with Chris Paul or something like, I don't, you know, it's a lot of variables. Nas Reed finna follow deal in San Antonio. Hey, bro, I wouldn't be mad at it. You know what I'm saying? Well, one thing about Nas Reed, he going to get you a bucket. And he's one of D'Lo's better roadman partners that he's ever had because he has good hands and he rolls with momentum and he can, you know what I'm saying, he can pop a little bit even though I don't trust this jumper at all, you know what I'm saying, because it's not that I don't trust it, I don't think he trusts it because he shoots like 4 different jumpers a season. Last year was the first time where I didn't really see him tweak his jumper too much. The arc was relatively consistent, the release point was relatively consistent, but he was changing shooting pocket and all kind of stuff over the course of like the past couple seasons. But you know what I'm saying, Nas Reed about to get a little bit of a bag. You know, there's only so much you can probably extend it to him, even though he's been generally better at being a physical presence in the paint this year, like on the boards and stuff, and he's gotten a lot of blocks and stuff. You still don't want to like put the back line of your defense in the hands of Nas Reed, in my personal opinion. So like, I think that caps his ceiling a little bit. But if you're a team, if you playing against a team that has undefined like big man on the other side, Nas Reed is going to give you about 20 or 15 easy. Like he's consistently doing that. So like, that's extremely valuable. So, you know what I'm saying? If San Antonio got that bag, you're going to chase that bag. Let's see. Yeah, I think his value around the league is so varied. Like some GMs, Gerson love him, and some GMs like Connolly don't like him like that. I don't know if Connolly didn't necessarily like him. I just think that the environment around the Wolves was a little bit weird because they were kind of a team in transition in the front office as well. And we all know that people didn't like Glenn Taylor, you know what I'm saying, fiscal decisions in the first place. But like there were reports of like A-Rod being a super broke boy. And it's just like, how much are you willing to commit to D'Angelo Russell when you have two rookie scale guys that you have to pay? You're about to start paying Karl-Anthony Towns like $60 million like in short order. I don't think it's quite at 60 yet, but it's going to be 60 towards the end of his contract, even though he's definitely not going to be there, in my personal opinion. You're giving Rudy all his money already. Like, they had a lot of concerns that weren't just like basketball on the court concerns that they had to worry about. So, like, I think that there wasn't probably that he didn't necessarily like him, but like they saw Conley, he was a little bit cheaper. And they still probably had the idea that like, oh, we need to get Ant the ball more, which I disagree with from a like on ball passer standpoint. But you know, I think it was more of a cost concern and then a basketball concern opposed to the other way around. I think he just outplayed the amount of money they were willing to give him, which is fine. But if they would have just held on a little longer, they might have, you know what I'm saying, he might have brought the value back down a little bit. They could have talked, you know what I'm saying, had a little powwow about the situation. But you know what I'm saying, it is what it is now. But like, I don't think you can discount the turnaround that the Lakers have had and just be like, oh, we got to this certain point and we started losing, and it was this guy, he was thinking it up, like, and it's way too small of a sample size, particularly against a team who seems to be very aware of him. Like this is the third series where it's like we got to find a way to contain this guy on the floor, and we know if he's not actively involved in what they're doing, then the Lakers aren't going to be particularly good. I think they're 1-7 when he doesn't score 17 points. Like, for all of like Reeves' greatness and all this other stuff, if D'Lo's not particularly playing well, he's not taking a lion's share of the shots or the possessions or stuff like that to where this should be a stat that's like this crazy if you have LeBron and AD on your team. This is just in the postseason. Like you can't just be 1-7 just like because the third guy is not cooking sometimes because other guys are stepping up still instead sometimes and they're still not winning. So like, you know what I'm saying? Whether or not it's purely coincidental, because I know a couple of those games were blowouts. So like he got sat early and stuff like that. But like, you know what I'm saying? There's some truth in that stat. And I think that they would see the effects of that next year, depending on who they decide to replace him with, if they can find a suitable replacement, whether that be just running it back with Austin and Rui, which what happens when they start seeing different levels of defensive attention. Now that people know who they are, you know what I'm saying? You could say that they're playing well at the highest levels of basketball, but roles are a thing in the NBA for a reason. And once things start scaling up, I don't think Reeves is going to have any problem with it. But, you know, people might start playing him a little more aggressively and proving that he can shoot off the dribble and pass off the dribble in situations that aren't as defined reads when you have a shooter like D'Angelo Russell on the wing waiting for whatever pass he's going to throw him and LeBron and AD still being out there. If that's another guard, maybe it's a Max Christie and it looks a little different. I don't know. But you know what I'm saying? I think they have a lot of things to consider roster construction wise. Like I said with the Kyrie point earlier, if that becomes a Chris Paul or whatever type of magic that they're going to try to work outside of a D'Angelo Russell, then like, you know what I'm saying? There's still considerations that have to be taken into account. And one of them is just surviving the regular season in the first place. So like, if they can't do that, then like, I don't see why they wouldn't try to run it back. I don't know how I got to this point because that was a long bit of talking and I don't remember what the genesis was besides the Conley point. Let's see. So I'm the only one in here. It's been about 25 minutes. My stomach is hurting. But I just got on here to open myself up to any available slander. Rui in the start lineup, Dennis in the start lineup, probably game 4. Hopefully D'Lo still gets a chance. Shout out to Ham. He really he didn't finish that, man. He gave him a chance. He put him back out there in the third quarter. I didn't think he was going to do that. And they didn't really lose hold of the leash that they had. They didn't really make too much of a push either, but they survived those minutes. And then the rest of the game was what it was. But he gave him a chance after that early start. I thought he was locked in. Then he started missing threes. And I was like, oh, that boy, he started scissoring his legs on some of them threes. I said, oh, he is feeling it. He's pressing. Like there's a difference between like pressing and like being like the moment being too big. And I think he was more of the pressing variety. He was a little too amped up at that point. And he just his nervous system took over and it just wasn't a good look. But with all that said, he left the game. They still were up 1. Like they still had a chance to win that game. So like you can put a lot of it on him in the first half, but like they were still there and they still just didn't execute. And that's something that they got to deal with. Of course, like the GOATs is going to get scaped for sure. Game 3 was well deserved. Games 1 and 2, not so much. But they move. You know what I'm saying? If he comes back and finds some semblance of success in the next game, if he plays, then you know, and they do. As a starting group as well in game 4, maybe they have a dynamic that the Nuggets aren't particularly prepared for, and they could go on a little bit of a run. I doubt that's going to happen, but I don't doubt anything that could ever happen, but I doubt that it's going to happen to the tune of 4 games, I should say. But, you know what I'm saying? I'm still going to watch with the expectation that the Lakers going to win in every individual game they play until they show that they're going to lose again. So, like I said, all of these games have been there, but they just losing on the margins. If they just tighten up some transition defense and continue to play the defense that they've been playing in the half court for the last 2 games, they should have a chance in any one of these games. It's 4 games. They got to win all 4 of them individually as opposed to winning them in a collective. So anything is possible. It's never happened before. And, you know, it's probably never going to happen again. I don't know how many teams with 2 surefire Hall of Fame superstars have been in this situation. So I can't really call it. I think LeBron and them did they get swept by the Heat? Not the Heat, the Spurs. The Spurs was giving them the business. I remember that. So, you know what I'm saying? Highly improbable. But I do expect to be back here on Tuesday. I think they're going to win game 4. If nothing else, I don't think they're going to roll over and just get blown out the gym, but maybe they do, because that happens a lot. People lose game 3 and it's just they ain't feeling it no more. They get ran out their own gym, and I don't want to see that for the purple and gold brothers. But it's a distinct possibility. But I think the Lakers got a little more fight than that. I think they got a little more pride than that. So I think we will have a game 5 in Denver, and you know what I'm saying? I don't know what the pressure would be on Denver in that particular scenario. I don't think it would be particularly high, but it would be something that they would have to contend with, and you know, we'll see where it goes from there. But if they're not back, if they don't win on is it Monday tomorrow, I might still be here on Tuesday. It just depends on how I'm feeling. I'm here despite my best interest. I'm about to take these back patches off right now. I have one on right now. I should actually do that because they're kind of peeling off at this point. But it ain't really too much activity here. I think 30 minutes is a good jumping off point, unless anybody jump in with anything before I walk out of here. And yeah, if they lose, I might be back on Tuesday, might not. If they win, I definitely will be back talking Lakers in 7 talk with a little more bass in my voice. You know what I'm saying? Lakers in 6 +1. You know what I'm saying? I was saying Lakers in 6, but the +1 was like the size of the fine print. It was like 2.3 point font. You know what I'm saying? So you couldn't really see it. I was always saying Lakers in 7. But it was 6 +1. Y'all just didn't like catch the gist of it. And like when I would say it out loud, Lakers in 6, you could hear like +7. If you had the headphones in that can do the bi-directional, like where you got to have both of them in to hear the audio a certain way, you could hear like +1 in the background. You know what I'm saying? So I never was wrong about what I said. You know what I'm saying? You just misheard what I said. Nah, I got to own that. But I was right the first 2 series. So you know what I'm saying? 2 for 3 ain't bad. 66%. If that was what I was shooting in the league, I would get a max contract. You know what I'm saying? So just, you know what I'm saying? Consider it that way. But I think I'm about to get out of here. My spine is doing what it's doing. So I ain't running from the grind. I ain't running from smoke. It wasn't no smoke. You know what I'm saying? That's what happens when you lead a good, respectful online existence. You know what I'm saying? Even though I had like 1 or 2 people try me on Twitter, but like I'm untriable because you can't cook me. Because you know what I'm saying? Not only am I not particularly invested in what you're saying, I be cooking myself. You know what I'm saying? Not cooking myself as in cooking myself, but I be out here cooking in these environments. You know what I'm saying? I might chill for the most part, but you know what I'm saying? If you want to intellectually or verbally spar with me, you know, might not go so well for you. So if anybody watches this video in the future, I just want you to consider these things, particularly in an environment when I got time to write. Like, come on. You know what I'm saying? Let's keep it nice. Let's keep it cordial. Let's keep it fun. Keep it respectful. And we'll all have a good time, you know? But yeah, I'm out of here. Y'all be safe. Make sure you stretch your psoas muscles. Make sure your hips are limber. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you're sleeping on good quality mattresses. You're not leaning over when you're reading. You use your legs when you bend down to pick up things. Any other tips? I think that's about it. So yeah, till next